Hello again, everyone. It's time for another pregnancy TV review. This time we'll be reviewing a very special episode that I saw when I was a little kid called Spencer for Hire. Now, I gotta tell you about this. This show appeared way back in either 1985 or 1986. I was just a little kid back then, 4 or 5 years old, and I can remember seeing this show when it first came on. This episode right here. Excuse me. Now, keeping in mind, this was the 80s, so you were lucky to see anything involving pregnant women back then, let alone good pregnancy dialogue, which this episode actually has. This stands out in my mind. I never forgot it when I first saw it when I was just a kid back then, because I remember, I remember where I was. I was camping, and we were in this travel trailer, and I saw this episode on television. And it just stood out in my mind because I remember thinking at the time, wow, this is amazing. I already knew by then, I was attracted to pregnant women even as young as 5 years old. And like I said, this came about in the mid to late 80s. So this was a long time ago, and I was just a small munchkin of a man. But I can remember this episode, and I never forgot it. And I was lucky enough last month to find it online. I had not seen it all those years since that one time I had seen it on television. So this is really a childhood memory for me, and it's one of the earliest memories I have of when I realized I liked pregnant women, and one of the earliest memories of me watching an episode with a pregnant woman on it. There are, of course, no bare belly scenes in this episode because this was the 80s, of course, and you never saw anything like that. But the dialogue that it has here with this pregnant woman is good. And it has another aspect I like to this episode. It has a hero coming to the rescue of a pregnant woman, which I also like in movies and in television. The plot here very quickly is, as I understand it, this girl is a mistress of a mobster who wants a male heir to continue his criminal empire. He's married, but his wife, they never been able to have children, I think. So he plans to let her have the baby, but once she has the baby boy, he's going to kill her. So Spencer for Hire here, this guy, the hero of the film, or the series, I should say, comes to her rescue. This guy's dead now, and I've forgotten his name. He appeared in a lot of stuff. He was in the first Lonesome Dove movie. And of course, his co-star here, the bald black fellow, is the captain from Deep Space Nine. I remember him best as Gene Sisko, one of my favorite Star Trek episodes. But here they both play tough guys back in the 80s, taking down criminals, and they were kind of like the odd team. They don't necessarily always get along, but they're the good guys, and they do what they can to do right from wrong and help people out, that kind of thing. But the pregnancy dialogue that's coming up here, and I'm going to show you that in a little bit, is just amazing for the time. You never really heard anything like this back in the 80s. And it's one of the reasons why this episode stood out in my mind for so long, even though I had seen it way back when I was 5 years old. So I'm going to let you listen to that now. Hang on just a moment. Right now.
It's so hot in here. Aren't you hot?
No. Eat.
I'm not hungry. I'm hot.
Mr. Bennett's not gonna like it that you're not eating.
You think I need to gain a couple hundred more pounds? Look at me, I'm a tugboat.
You're making me real unhappy.
So what are you gonna do about it?
You should eat for the baby.
So right there you have it. Pregnancy dialogue like that, you never heard anything like that back then in the 80s, and even just to have a character that was pregnant in the 80s, you never saw hardly ever. And that's kind of why I wanted to show you this episode. It's good for what it is at the times. I mean, it's not like anything, of course, compared to what we have now or what we've seen now. But back then, this was something, and it's one of my earliest childhood memories of a favorite episode that I saw that involved a pregnant character. So, excuse me. Anyway, what happens, of course, is Spencer rescues her and, like I said, saves her from the mobster, and she has the baby, and everything's fine at the end. But I like this episode not only for the pregnancy dialogue, but I like the fact that we have a hero, like I said, coming to the rescue of a pregnant woman. That's what I like to see in shows like that. And it's a very good episode, especially for the times. And like I said, I love that dialogue. Like she says, "Where do I need to gain 100 more pounds?" And it's almost like he's got her there just to fatten her up until she has the baby, which is essentially what he's doing. But all in all, it's a great episode. For the 80s and for the time that it was. And like I said, it's a childhood memory for me, so I just had to share this with you guys and show you one of my earliest childhood memories of seeing a pregnant character on television, because as far back as I can remember, this is probably about the first time I saw anything like that. And like I said, even though I was only 5 years old, by then I knew I liked pregnant women. I just didn't know what that meant. But anyway, it's a very good episode, and these clips are very good. And I recommend it, just for what it is. Like I said, it's the 1980s. Don't expect any bare belly scenes or nothing like that, of course. But it's good for what it was at the time. Okay, so the final score for Spencer for Hire is 3.5 stars. I give it that score because it's a nice childhood memory from mine, and it's got great pregnancy dialogue from the time that it was. And so it's good, for what it is. And without further ado, I'm going to do a little something different here and play a little theme music that I think fits this episode perfectly. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you later.
Here he comes, that mighty mouse, coming to vanquish the foe with a mighty blow. So don't be afraid anymore, 'cause things won't be like they've been before. Here I come to save the day. Thank goodness Mighty Mouse is on his way. So let the trumpet players play, for Mighty Mouse is here today. Here he comes, that Mighty Mouse, just like a bolt from the blue, with a heart that's true, fighting evil, fighting crime, and always there in the nick of time. Here he comes to save the day, and he will prove that crime will never pay. So let the trumpet players play, for Mighty Mouse is here today.